Okay, this is Mr. Elmhorst with the help video for the benchmark fractions anchor chart that we're going to put into our notebook. So looking at the first fraction, if we know our multiples of 100, we know that 2 times 50 will give us hundredths. 2 times 50 will give us hundredths. So if we multiply the top of the fraction, that will actually give us hundredths place value. So 1/2 is going to be 50 hundredths. And 50 hundredths, moving the decimal 2 places to the right, is going to give us 50%. An unusual factor of 100 is 3. I like to teach my students that 33.3 gets you close to 100, which is 99.9. So 3, the factor times 33.3, if we use that in the top of the fraction, 1 times that is going to be 33 hundredths. So 1 times 33, that's going to be 33 out of 100. And then there's going to be an extra 3 in the thousands place value. And moving it 2 places to the right for percent, 33.3%. Using the same factor for 3 for the denominator down below, 33.3, that's going to give us 99.9. And if we multiply 2 times that, that's going to give us 66%. 66 hundredths, and then there's a little left over in the thousands. Move it 2 places to the right to get our percent, 66.6%. So 1/2 is an easy factor of 100. 1/3 is not, but we can estimate it. So using factors for 4 times 75 would give us the hundredths. And then if we do 1 times 75, that would be 75 hundredths. And 75 hundredths is going to be 75%. Thank you. Let me fix that. I was looking at 3/4, but I was doing 1/4. 25. So 1/4 is 25 hundredths and 25%. Now let's do the correct factor down below. Let me slow down my thinking here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so 4 times 25 and then 3 times 25 would give us 75 hundredths. Thank you for noticing. Got that fixed. 75%. So 1/4 is 25 hundredths. 3/4 is 75 hundredths. Okay, now looking at the fractions of fifths, using our factor chart on the wall for hundredths, 5 times 20 will give us hundredths. And then 1 times 20 will give us 20 hundredths. 20 hundredths, this hundredths place value is your percent. 20%. You should start to see the pattern here. 2 times 20 is 40. 5 times 20 is hundredths. 40 hundredths. 3 times 20 is 60. 5 times 20 is hundredths. 60 hundredths. 4 times 20 is 80. And 5 times 20 gives us hundredths, 80 hundredths. These are some of our basic benchmark fractions that we are going to see all the way through 6th grade. So if we memorize them or we use our charts, it can help us do the math more quickly. Well, since we're down here with the bottom and we are doing 20ths or fifths, we can do backwards and use the other factor. What do we multiply 20 by to get 100? 5. So we got 1 times 5 is 5 hundredths. 5 hundredths. And then we use 5 here. 3 times 5 is 15. 20 times 5 is hundredths, 15 hundredths. 13 times 5 is going to be 65. That's going to be out of 100. And then 17 times 5 is 85 hundredths. And we move our decimal place value over 2 spaces to get the percent, 5%, 15%, 65%, 85%. So factors of 4, 5, and 20 work very nicely with tenths, hundredths, and thousands. And then we have one more here that's easy. 10 times 10 is hundredths. So what's 1 times 10? 10, and that's in the hundredths. So that's 10 hundredths or 10%. The other tricky factor would be 8. I like to teach my accelerated advanced math students the factors of 8. 8 times 12.5 gives you 100. 8 times 12.5 gives you 100. So that would help us get our fractions converted to hundredths. So here we have 12 hundredths, 12%, 12 hundredths, and then this extra 0.5 goes on the end. You multiply the same thing here. 8 times 12.5 will give you hundredths. 1, 2 decimal place values. 3 times 12.5 will give you 37, and it's 37 hundredths, but it's 37.5 or 375 thousandths. 5 times 12.5 is going to be 62.5% or 625 thousandths. 5 times 12.5 is about 62%, and then there's a little extra right here. Here's your percent. And the last one, 12.5 times 7 is going to give you 87.5%. 87 hundredths or 875 thousandths. Percent is going to be 2 decimal place values. So we have 87.5%, 62.5%, 37.5%, and then the fraction 1/8 is going to be 12.5%.